The Parlement Belge was a steamship, a mail packet, which transported mail between Belgium and Great Britain under a treaty made between the two countries. The treaty established that the mail packets, including the Parlement Belge, would be given the rights of a ship of war while in British ports. A ship of war would be immune from prosecution and most local laws. One foggy night, the Parlement Belge crashed into a steam tug called Daring, damaging her badly. The owners of Daring sued the Parlement Belge, but the British government intervened, arguing that their claim was prohibited under the treaty. Now, institutions of international law actually have no independent authority. Sovereignty, the ultimate ability to make law, is held by each country. Generally, international law only affects each country with that country's consent. This is why the United Nations is not a world parliament, it's merely a meeting place for the nations of the world. When those nations make treaties, those treaties are only binding on countries if they sign and then ratify or confirm their participation in the treaty. In many countries, including the United Kingdom and Australia, treaties are made by the executive branch of government, the ministry and the public service. And yet in our system, laws are not made by the executive. Laws are made by the legislature, the parliament. So the executive can make a treaty, but that treaty won't be effective until the parliament passes legislation to implement the treaty locally. In this case, the Parlement Belge, the court found that the treaty had never been passed into law by the parliament, so the Belgian ship was not immune from prosecution. The judge, Sir Robert Filmore, said, "If the Crown had power, without the authority of the Parliament, by this treaty to order that the Parlement Belge should be entitled to all the privileges of a ship of war, then the right of the subject to recover damages is extinguished. This is a use of the treaty-making prerogative of the Crown which I believe to be without precedent and contrary to the laws of the Constitution." From this case, we learn that a treaty doesn't change domestic law. If the treaty makes rules which would normally be made by the Parliament, the treaty has no effect until the Parliament passes laws to implement it. The steam tug Daring was therefore entitled to sue.